I've been a fee-only financial advisor for over 20 years, and during that time, I've literally spoken with thousands of people about their retirement ambitions. And I can share with you that, unfortunately, at least here in the United States, the standard game plan, the path that most of us are on, does not lead to being able to retire in your early 50s, let alone your early 60s. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the 8 things that I think we all need to master in order to give ourselves the highest likelihood of being able to retire early and fully enjoy the youth of our senior years. Okay, the first one is you've got to get a handle on your finances. It doesn't mean you need to have an Excel spreadsheet or use complicated software. It really means no matter how much you earn, you need to spend less than what you earn. Sadly, over half of all Americans that make over $100,000 a year don't save a dime. And you know the quickest way to make sure you never retire early is to keep doing that. So if you're there now, we start by doing what we can do. Here's my suggestion. Look at your spending and break it down into your needs, your wants, and then the third category is savings. There's a game plan that's called the 50-30-20 rule. And you try to keep your expenses for your needs, which are things like your rent, your utility bill, your transportation to get back and forth. You try to keep that below 50%. 30% for your wants, that's things like going on vacation, going out to eat, going to a movie, date night with your spouse if you're married, date night with somebody that you enjoy spending time with if you're not married. Just these things that are classified as wants. And then 20% is what we're trying to save. Now, this is after tax salary. Now, 20% is a big number. I can tell you that's gonna help you get to where you're going if you can save that much, but most of us aren't there yet. So you know what you do? You do what you can. You start saving as much as you can and you go from there. Number 2, and we're gonna go through these a little more quickly now, is have an emergency fund. Have 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Why? Because if you lose your job, you have the option to take the time to find the best match for you going forward. You know, if you've got a mortgage, if you have a lot of responsibilities, maybe you're paying for your kids' college education, whatever it is, and you lose your job, you know, you kind of have to scramble and get that job right away, get your next job right away. I don't want you to have to do that. I want you to be able to optimize on what's the best match for you, because if you find the job that's the best match for you, guess what? You're gonna do better and you're gonna get paid more in the end. So that's one reason to have an emergency fund. And the other is just to handle the unexpected things in life. Again, over half of Americans say that if they had an unexpected $1,000 bill, maybe they broke their arm and they had to go to the emergency room to get that set, or your car needs a repair. And it doesn't take much these days to get a $1,000 bill from your mechanic. I want you to be able to handle that without doing the next thing, which is using what I call destructive debt. There's 2 types of debt. There's productive debt, which is a reasonable mortgage for your house is a classic example. And then there's destructive debt. And the destructive debt are the things that we spend money on that we really don't need. Maybe a couple weeks later, we can't even, you know, the credit card bill shows up and we can't even remember what we spent that money on. That's destructive debt. It's consumerism and it's funded at a very high cost. It's not unusual for the interest rate on that to be 20 to 30%. So I want you to limit your destructive debt and ideally pay it off in full every month. Doesn't mean you never have a mortgage, because that's productive debt in my opinion. But it does mean you get rid of the destructive debt, your credit card debt, maybe high interest car loans, things like that. The next is we have to take advantage of free money. What is this free money that you're talking about, Azul? Free money is money if you work for a company that offers a 401k and a match. It's not unusual for a company to match the first 2, 3, if you're lucky, 5% plus of the money that you put in from salary deduction. So you put in $1,000, your company matches $1,000. That's one of the only 100% returns that I know of out there. So take advantage of free money. If your company offers a 401k and a 401k match, I want you to put money in there. I talked earlier about saving money, right? We've got to get control over our spending so that we can start saving. A goal is 20%. I know that that's aspirational, but if you can get there, I want to remind you that it's not enough to just save. You also have to invest. You have to be shooting to at least keep up with inflation and preferably beat inflation. Because if you can beat inflation, if your returns can be higher than inflation over an investment cycle, what that means is your money very quickly is going to start working harder for you than you are for your money. You know, looking at building up a nest egg of $1 million. If you put in $10,000 a year into an account that gets 7% a year, it's going to take you between 7 and 8 years to save that first $100,000. Do you know how long it's going to take you to go from $900,000 to $1 million, so that last $100,000? It's going to take you less than half of that. Why? Because your money is working harder for you than you're working for your money. So I want you to look at that. I want you to start saving. I want your money to start working as hard as it can, preferably harder than you, as soon as it can. Okay, the next one is some of the others, some of the more technical, some of the what I call fine tuning. And some of these can be really powerful. A great example of that is a health savings account, an HSA. If you're in a high deductible healthcare plan, you can put money into this account. It's a little over $4,000 a year for an individual. It's a little over $8,000 a year for a family. There is no AGI cutoff. Really, the requirement is you have to be in a high deductible healthcare plan. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on that, but none of what I'm sharing today is financial advice for you. It's really put things on your radar screen. So do a quick Google search, health savings account. If you qualify, it's a powerful tool. And you know what? 90% of the people that do qualify for a health savings account don't put in the maximum. And there's a way you can use a health savings account to really pile away a lot of money very quickly. You put money in pre-tax dollars, it grows tax-free, and if you use it for qualified medical expenses and you have the receipt to prove it, you can take money out tax-free as well. But you know what? You don't have to take money out. You can let that money build up in your health savings account. And it can very quickly become a very powerful nest egg for you inside of that health savings account where you can access it without ever paying tax on that. So it's incredibly important. The next one is I want you to have clarity and confidence in your plan. If you retire early and you don't have clarity and confidence, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to sacrifice unnecessarily. You could have spent more money early in your retirement, but you just didn't know. So you end up not taking advantage of all that hard work that you did. Or you're going to spend too much money and you're going to put at jeopardy your retirement. Neither one of those are good outcomes. So I really strongly encourage you to work with a fee-only financial advisor and have a professional do your financial plan for you, because you want that clarity, you want that confidence. And the thing I want to close on is, why is it so important? Why is all of this so important? Whether you choose to retire early or not, your worst case scenario, if you could retire early and you don't, is you have financial freedom. And then you can really fine tune your situation, right? You can make sure that you're in a situation that you're working on the types of things that you want to work on, with who you want to work on, when you want, and how much you want to work on, and from where you want to work if you want to do some travel. So it's incredibly powerful. Early retirement is an amazing thing. Let me pitch you on why early retirement is such a great thing through this video here. Watch this video. It's called The 5 Reasons to Retire as Soon as You Can. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in there. Bye-bye.